example, there is no longer free school inside the building, but what is an interesting new use of the building that could make you connected to this community service aspect of the previous generations, right? So you look for genealogy, for example, the communitarian sense, right? Or what the neighborhood values is like and how has it evolved from one form to another, but nonetheless there is a kind of connection between these evolving forms, right? So you look for the genealogy in that way. And you will be very surprised that although the Blue House does not alert you to issues of colonialism, you will find a lot of things that can tell you about how to this community service aspect of the previous generations, right? So you look for genealogy, for example, the communitarian sense, right? Or what the neighborhood values is like and how has it evolved from one form to another, but nonetheless there is a kind of connection between these evolving forms, right? So you look for the genealogy in that way. And you will be very surprised that although the Blue House does not alert you to issues of colonialism, you will find a lot of things that can tell you about how the colonized culture was like and how it has evolved into now. And also, it will challenge your usual binary understanding that there is something from the colonizer culture and something from the colonized culture. Here, it's not so clearly demarcated. The adaptability of this vernacular living style and vernacular idiom of architecture is very hybrid. It has created its own synergy. It's innovative additions and adaptations, and you will see this very, very interesting mix. But it's not easy to discover the first time you go there. You will need to spend a lot of time before you come to this conclusion I have made. Now, the whole concept of contemporary vernacular also helps us avoid and resist certain dangers. One of the dangers is a disneyfied reproduction, postmodern reproduction of something that makes you think it is old. Like Disney's Main Street is a recreation of a certain idea about traditional American street, right? But it's very fake. It's a kind of 模擬的. It's very similar to the new Queen's Pier that tries to look, the new Star Ferry that tries to look Victorian, but you know it's so fake. It pretends too hard, and it looks so distant. So it's not about the contextualized reproduction, not about this grandeur replication, not about superficial historical reconstruction, but an evolving, living connection to the past, which is contemporary vernacular. And it also resists this kind of new urban design that is about dominance and about designs that exclude people. And it resists this kind of intensified colonial mentality of the planners. And I'm suggesting that the Hong Kong Town Planning Board and Town Planning Department is really like the Robert Moses I was talking about, the top down. And the opposite example would be how Tokyo, also becoming a very important metropolis, but also breaking the rules here and there of the metropolis development principles of dominance, big architecture, right? And Sasaki, which means you kill the living community, you kill the surrounding industries, you kill the economic, social network, and the cultural network, everything. Restore the building and put a museum, and put some restaurants, tea houses in it. We created tourist understanding of what traditional Chinese is. So you have a traditional Chinese medicine museum without a doctor in it. So you go to the museum, you look at the traditional herbal medicine, but you can't actually take the herbal medicine or meet the herbal doctor. Right? That's what they did. It's a preservation of tradition. Frozen in time, that take consume coffee in Starbucks. No connection to the tradition, living tradition itself. So this cartoon is actually drawn by a local artist, Stella So, about how vibrant this community is. And so the community decided, no, the government is doing something very, very stupid. The government thinks that by doing that, it will recover all the cost of taking the people out and renovating the building. So they think that they can do better, that they can revitalize this whole community, even its economics, but still allow people who want to stay, and those people who want to go to public housing if they want to. Some older people really think that they can't climb the stairs anymore. They would prefer a public housing with the lifts, right? But quite a few families want to stay, and they develop gradually a sense of ownership and pride about their own kind of culture, and they want to be part of the future preservation and living preservation movement. So if they were able to stay in the community, they would participate in the future developments and running and management of this community. So they started the People's Participatory Planning and Design process, long process. And we've been with them for this process for 1.5 years. Now, in your readings, there is a reading about East Illinois, about the community going through a long process of participatory planning and revitalizing a very poor district. Now, the case is not similar, but the process, how the participatory process was described in that essay, that reading and the reference, it's very similar to what you would see happening at Blue House district. Now, this is the area. This is Blue House, Grade 1 historic site. This is Yellow House, Grade 2 historical building. This is 1920s, 1930s. This is 1950s, the Orange House, which is very narrow. And there used to be a small park, small garden park. And in here, it's not fenced off. This is from the government maps. The 4 blocks of Blue House, Yellow House, the Orange House. This is the area that we are going to revitalize and preserve. So this is a 3D idea of the place. And this is the park, the garden. Now, what have they come up? What do they want to put into Blue House after some people left? There are also right now there are also quite a lot of empty units. So with all the present empty units and a few more families leaving, they will have plenty of space left, even if a few families stay behind. And these are the things they want to put inside this community. A community history office, doing oral history and working on local history, vernacular history, street history, so on. And you can see that there are already some studies along these lines. One is actually done by a group called Community Culture Concern, I remember. Quite a few of us have been working on this report. You can download at the website I gave you. The problems and opportunities of the crop-based industry in Wanchai District. And it's also on the website of the Wanchai District Office, culturalwanchai.net. And there is another story about oral history, about people in the Stone Owl Lane. You can also download that from there. And there are plenty of other reports and research. Now, you will see it when you go there, the Livelihood Museum. So I'm not going to tell you details, but you tell me after you come back. This is another poster, a leaflet of the Livelihood Museum.